Welcome to Wine and Real Estate, the podcast where we drink wine, we have fun, and we learn about real estate investing. Real estate investing is so much more than just buying buildings. It's about building relationships, building your dreams, building your dream lifestyle, customizing your life. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? It's much more than money. It's more than getting rich. It's a different type of wealth. It's the wealth of time, the wealth of freedom. And now let's get to the wine and the real estate. Hello, Alfonso, and hello, everyone. Welcome to Wine and Real Estate. I love that new intro. So I have to thank MJ, one of my virtual assistants who designed it very recently. It's the first time I get to use it. So Alfonso, you're one of my first here with this new intro. And it's fun seeing where you come from and all the guests I've had over a year and a half now of podcasting, which is insane. I had trouble getting 3 minutes of interviews in the past. And now, anyway, we have great conversations. So Alfonso from JAAG Properties and also co-founder of the Right Club. Welcome, my friend. I can't wait to learn about how you got started in real estate and also why rent to own and JAAG. I have so many questions. So welcome.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much for having me on, Francois. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be on. I love the intro. Really, really love the intro. You have such a calm and soothing voice. I know we've always chatted and talked quite a bit, but yeah, I'm really excited to be on.
Excellent. Thank you. So I'd love to find out. So let's go back to when, I don't know when you started investing. Maybe you were 18 years old, or how did that all start out?
Yeah, it actually started out when I was I was my mid-20s.
Okay.
And yeah, working different types of sales jobs. My first ever job was door knocking,
Oh,
right?
nice.
And yeah, so then I went through a different progression of different sales jobs, and yeah, it was actually for Rogers. So I started investing in my mid-20s, and it was because of the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Not like very similar to others, and I read that book, took a few classes and courses, really learned, and yeah, I just thought about how can I, first of all, supplement some of my income so I didn't have to work, all the time, right? Or at least in addition to where I was working, and yeah, started with rent to own in my mid-20s. Yeah, the very first time.
Very cool. And did you do it yourself, or can you walk us through kind of that first deal, if you don't mind?
Yeah, how did that first deal? So we had done, I myself and a partner did some training, some real estate training, had a mentor, and figured out that we'd like the rent to own process the best. I then found my business partner Adam, who had the first deal, and I was his first investor. So it was
And
more
you're
of a
still
passive.
together investing. Wow, that's really cool. How many
Yeah,
years?
that was 2014, and that was 2014 that we had
So
invested in a rent to own.
almost
Yeah,
8
had
years.
analyzed it, had said, okay, this is the one we want to do the trigger on, but I wanted to learn how to do it, right? I wanted to learn how to do the process, and then yeah, at that point, Adam and I, yeah, kept on going from there. But that was the first real estate deal.
And how many deals you've done now? I think it's quite a high number. You're
Of rent owns, I think we're at just approaching 225 or so, right?
wow.
So yeah, so that's over 100 that we've actually exited and sold all these years later.
Congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment. And I know your deals span quite a distance as well. So you were mostly in kind of southwestern Ontario, and you've also gone in other areas. So right now, where's your focus with JAAG Properties for properties?
Yeah, the major focus, southwestern Ontario, right, towards Sarnia, Windsor, out to there, and all the way across to like the Golden Horseshoe as well, too, kind of south of the highways along the Lake Ontario, Lake Erie kind of shores, right, where that's where most of our projects are. We've gone across the province and even in other provinces as well. But that seems the area that we work the best. The increasing purchase prices are kind of helping that guide where we're going to be going as well too, and where people want to live. But there's very few markets that haven't been touched by an increase in purchase price, right? So it's really
Yeah.
where the clients want to own their home and make sense for them, and that's a sound investment for us.
Yeah, and that's a mindset shift for a lot of investors. So rent to own, you can go buy a property, then find a tenant buyer, but you guys do the opposite. You find a tenant buyer, and then for the most part, I think, and then you find their dream home, and now it's a goal that they work towards, and there's all kinds of qualification. But could you tell us how that works? If you're, how do you qualify to be a tenant buyer, and why would you want to rent to own?
Yeah, absolutely. For a lot of our clients, they're turned down from conventional financing, or just short, right? Or just short, or said not right now, right? They've been renting for a while, or they have a choice that they need to move out of where they are now, right? From renting, or maybe in their parents' basement. They're new to the country, right? And they don't have established credit or work history, and need some time to build both of those. So essentially, like, to qualify is basically like a job, being employed or self-employed. We work with both, right? To have that income that's actually being earned. Some down payment, not as much as the banks need. We typically 3% of the purchase price
Okay.
is most, right. So most lenders, banks, they want to see at least five or more if you're self-employed, for sure. And then the credit score is really the unique part of that. If it is bruised or damaged, we can improve it and work on it. So it's maybe that it needs some work. If all three are really in a tough situation, we'll have to have a good look. But it's one of those three pegs: the income, the down payment, or the credit score, and that need improving.
Okay, very cool. So if someone, yeah, somebody could have a great credit score, good job, but no, well, very little down payment. Maybe they're more at 2% instead of your three. So you're willing to potentially work with that. Or credit score, as you mentioned, some people have gone through bad situations or lifestyle changes, and then their credit was bruised. So how long is a rent to own deal normally for?
Yeah, typically over the history that we've done our deals, I would say 3% is by far the average, or sorry, 3 years is the average length of our rent to own programs. We're anywhere from 2 to 4, or even sometimes 5 year rent to own programs. Again, it's depending on the income of the client, how much they can save, what debts need to be paid off. Yeah, and really, 3 years is probably most of our projects in terms of length and time.
Very cool. I'm dying to ask as well. So, with the increase we've seen in property values, if somebody got into a rent to own agreement in 2018 or 2019, I guess would be 3 years. In Hamilton, for example, they got a house for, I don't even know how much it would have been back then compared to today. So, actually, some rent to own tenant buyers are getting awesome deals from JAAG in a way, but that because it's a like it's an agreed upon price at the end of the deal. So have you seen a lot of people kind of make money that way, or?
Absolutely, yeah, and it
Great.
and it's absolutely, we've definitely, because the clients now, they get to enjoy that appreciation. They've worked for it, right? That's the deal
Yeah.
that we made, right? And you know what? And I would say a vast majority of our clients always ask about the other way, right? If the purchase
Yes.
prices go down. So now when we're saying, well, listen, 20% or 25%, don't expect that now, right? That's not
No.
something. Maybe it's not going to be forever. However, you're always better buying it, right, and locking in at that purchase price. And
Yeah.
again, we're locking it in too, because we're also cash flowing, making money as well. That's how the business operates, by helping these clients get into that home and getting into equity. Luckily, we've actually had a few clients that have actually now invested in our rent to own
Oh,
programs,
nice, because they've
right?
seen it,
So
they've
it's
experienced it.
yeah, absolutely. So now it's a cycle, right, where you're continuing to help and create equity, and help people get onto that path, right? Home ownership, you know what? If you do look at the numbers, it has gone up, not as much as it was, right?
No.
But it's getting tougher, and the divide is getting harder. So it's better to buy now, right, and help our clients get into that path. But yeah, they get to enjoy that equity, and we're happy for them.
No, I love that. It's like such a change. I mean, I'm sure at the beginning, 2014, you were not seeing that massive appreciation. There was some, because rent to own does require some appreciation for it to be successful for you guys. If not, it's harder to profit, but not these 25%, 40%, and doubling in price. It's a lot, but it's so nice that your clients became investors themselves. So, can you maybe describe us what is a typical property that you see these tenant buyers acquiring with you?
Yeah, they've really over the years they've been kind of all different kinds. Obviously, single family homes probably would be the top type of property. We've also done townhomes, a few
Condos or not?
yeah, yeah, townhome, both condos or just townhome freeholds. Some even in buildings as well. Some, in some cases, kind of, well, now from working from home, that expand. People that are going a
Yeah.
little bit further out in other cities, not too far out, right? We still don't do. I always remember in an ostrich farm, and I said, well, listen, if something, who's gonna, in a worst case scenario, if we have to sell that property, right, as an exit strategy, how many ostrich farmers are there, right? But
Not many.
yeah, yeah, it's really all different types of the properties. It's what's kind of required for our clients, right? Younger millennials don't need a lot of space at first. Families, need that space. So that's where we've seen both the townhomes, single families, yeah, in some cases condos as well.
Cool. I really like that because you mentioned now young people. So early 20s, let's say they have a job, they've been working there 4 or 5 years, and maybe they don't quite qualify. But instead of putting all that money into towards rent and not accumulating a down payment, nothing, then rent to own could be a nice strategy to help them, especially in southwestern Ontario. Well, all of Ontario now, prices have gone up so much that it's a lot of younger people are being priced out. So I like that aspect. So JAAG Properties, what does it spell out? JAAG is I know Alfonso somewhere, but
Yeah, and Adam, my business partner. So the original founders of the company was the initials, and yeah, we've continued to keep the name, and I can't believe how long it's been that we incorporated and really put the model, and now have a team that we've grown, right. So if we had to spell out all the people that are on our team, it wouldn't make sense. It kind of like needing asking Vanna White for a vowel, but. Um, it's yeah, like I think it really, what it really stands for though is kind of helping people become homeowners, right? That's our goal, right? And seeing families like move into their homes, that have somewhere to call home, right? That the kids are excited that they have a bedroom now, or a yard, that it's creating that people call it generational wealth, but it's like
yeah,
almost for us, and you touched upon the younger millennials, but I always like our newcomers, right, that are
yeah,
new to the country as well. My grandfather immigrated here, right, from Italy, and needed help, right, from family or some guidance, right, along the way. So we're able to provide that as well too with our credit team. So yeah, that's what it really stands for, is helping people kind of yeah, own their home and become proud homeowners.
no, and that's great. I mean, giving people a chance, newcomers, young people, or people with different situations. They're, I don't know, divorce, death, illness. Sometimes you've been sick for years with cancer or something. Now your credit is bruised and you still need a place to live. So it's very nice. You're investing and you're creating something for others. It's really a win-win situation. So I'm curious, rent to own with JAAG. I mean, you've done hundreds of deals now. For financing, how did you start out financing these deals? Did you have private lenders, or how did that work? And how are you working your deals now?
Yeah, the first, I would say, first handful or dozen or so that we extended our own credit financing, and then very quickly started working with other partners, right? Joint venture partners, just individual investors that a lot of them I met through different trainings, different networks, that yeah, just wanted to invest, understood the concept. Then we started educating a lot more investors, first time investors in real estate, Yeah, so a lot of them are a lot of repeat investors that we work with, but typically they were buying a home, so they were financing themselves, mortgages and providing the balance of the down payment, right? Because then our job was to find strong tenant buyers. It still is to find strong tenant buyers with deposits that kind of offset the actual capital required. So a lot of joint venture partners. I think we're over 100 JV partners and clients that we've done these deals with,
Wow.
and yeah, it's super cool. This is the thing. We used to get together once a year in person and have a big dinner, and we do kind of some virtual stuff here and there. It's not the same, but um, yeah, it's really great with the amount of partners and people that we've been able to work with, and now financing some of the projects ourselves as well too is really fun.
Yeah, as a JAAG bank in the future or JAAG credit union.
Oh, that would, yeah, of course. Then that would be to fund more deals and do it that way. Why not, right? If we believe in it, we keep investing in it, right? So
Yes, or a fund of some sort, I guess, could make sense as well. So 2022, we're at the beginning of the year recording this. What's planned for JAAG properties and for you, Alfonso? Like, what are your plans for this year? I know it's going to be another unpredictable year, but we still do some planning. I'm sure you have some ideas.
yeah, for sure. It's for us is to first is to strengthen our process, to continue to inspire our team that we work with, so that they can help more people and get through the process that is sometimes it's not an easy process. So we have a number on the board that we want to do amount of projects, right, and kind of to fund our system. It's an aggressive goal, but that's what we do, right? Day in and day out, helping people. So yeah, to continue to grow that side of the business, to definitely to continue to adapt. I think for the virtual world, and before we started talking, you recording about what's in the future, right, and how to kind of design that. I'm a new dad as well, so how to integrate that. That's what's up for me of figuring that out and continue to learn. There's no figuring it out. It's continue to figure it out, right? Yeah. So those are kind of some of the business goals, the personal goals that we have. Um, yeah, it's interesting. Like you said, it's unpredictable, but isn't life?
Yeah, yeah, everything is pretty much. It just seems we have more unknown these days, but really maybe it's not true. It just feels that way. So you mentioned your grandfather is Italian and you have a nice Italian family. So you must like some Italian wines. I'd love to find out about maybe some wine discoveries or maybe a situation where you've enjoyed some nice wine in Italy or Hamilton or somewhere.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like the first wine that I always think of was the first wine I ever had, and it was like my nonno's homemade wine. That's what was
Oh, cool.
on the table. It was, and I don't know a lot about the wine, the grapes, everything. I remember crushing grapes when I was a little kid in the garage, making the homemade wine. But that was always kind of like, yeah, that was home in the little small glasses, nothing fancy like the wine glasses or anything like that. But some amazing experiences with wine. I think in Italy, I love my favorite place in Italy was the Amalfi Coast, and there
Oh,
was, I don't know, I
yes.
always, my go-to is a Cabernet Sauvignon. I know I like it. There has to be really bad for me not to actually like that type of wine. So that was always
Yeah.
my go-to, and yeah, like I think it's always been like an Italian tradition with the wine and the pasta and the bread around the table. And now, yeah, I'll try all different types of wines. I think I'll quote Laurel. The favorite wine is the one that you're with, right? And I don't
Yes.
yeah, but that's my go-to, as I guess, as a Cabernet. There's the Massey. Is that a Massey?
I'm
Uh,
not sure.
yeah, but that anyway. If I'm walking through the LCBO and if I need to grab a bottle.
Very cool. So yeah, I love talking about wine because I find like real estate, wine as it ages, some wines, not all wines, get better. So real estate, holding on to properties get better, they improve, they go up in value. Like you do need to repair them, but for the most part, you get appreciation, mortgage pay down, things like that. But your model is a much shorter term model. So it's like a 3-year, like you said, 3-year sort of turnaround, and then your tenant buyer buys the property out. So I'd like to compare it to white wine. So white wine, normally you don't age it too much. So that's great. We need white wine, we need red wine. Normally you age it more. Bubbly, I don't think you age bubbly very much. It's 1 year. Rosé, especially, you don't age normally. So you're selling some white wine, Alfonso, if you didn't know. Just
Oh,
kidding.
okay. That's interesting. Yeah, that's true. It is sweeter, right? The white wine is
That's
sweeter.
it. So it's
Yeah.
sweeter, it's lighter, you can drink more of it, or so it seems. And then rosé is more the flips. So the flips of wine and real estate would be a rosé. But
Okay.
anyway, I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but I just wanted to have fun with the words. So Alfonso, you've been in the business of real estate investing since 2014. And a lot of people reach out to me now and ask me, hey, I want to get started, but prices are crazy and I don't know where to start anymore. Do you have advice for investors starting out, maybe considering the rent to own model or other strategies?
Yeah, I think when you start out, it's intimidating, right? There's a lot that you think you need to know, and it depends on where you're coming from, of what resource that you have to offer, right? If it's time, because you're young and you're looking for something to do and work and have a skill, right? Then you go and apply that. If it is money that you have and you want to get started in investing, right? Well, and you're continuing to work your job, or to have that as a supplementary income, then that's the asset that you have to kind of offer, right? And if it's experience, then that's when you can get the money, or basically borrow the money to do that, to leverage other people. So it's all depending on what resources that are available to you, that you want to grow as well. So identifying that, I think, is a good place to start, and then find people that are doing things that that you think are interesting. Like I had different
Yeah.
types of sales jobs and factories, and I kind of ruled out a lot of things that I didn't enjoy doing, right? So I was like, well, what are the things that I like to do? What kind of gets me inspired, right? And that's where I kind of put time, effort, and experience into that. So under identifying that, figuring it out is kind of a good place, in my opinion, to start.
Yeah, no, words of wisdom. That's how I start my coaching. So one-on-one with investors, I always ask them, make an inventory of your resources. So like you said, if you have no money, no credit, well, usually you have time. Usually you have a less demanding job. Usually the reverse happens. You have a very demanding job. Now you have cash and credit, or maybe you spend too much. So now you need to save. But you've got something there, but less time. So it's important to know what you bring to the table. And a lot of rent to own, from what I've read and learned, is a lot of joint ventures. You've mentioned it yourself as well. Repeat partners. Do you ever do deals where you have a person that applies for the credit and someone that qualifies for the money, or it's always the same person that does both?
Yeah, in most cases, it's both that they would qualify for. In most, we definitely have now starting to work with clients that just have uh, the capital and not the credit, and find alternative sources for us to finance, or like I said, qualify ourselves for those financing. So yeah, like it's really, yeah, bringing those things to the table: the money, the credit, and the time. And the time for us is to operate and facilitate these projects kind of in a hassle-free way. But yeah, we worked with both, that providing the capital and the credit, and or one or the other.
Cool. And are you still looking for more money partners, credit partners to build your
I said
business?
we have aggressive goals, right? We have aggressive goals
You
that
need
we
money.
want to target. So yeah, so it'd be a good. We're all, yeah, of course, because it obviously helps facilitate more projects, and improve our systems as well, right? Definitely.
So this is an interesting territory. I've not explored this with many other guests, but more behind the scenes like this. So if, let's say, I'm an investor, I want to be passive, so I want to lend you my money and credit to do a deal. What do you look for in an investor like that? What are your criteria?
Yeah, number one is that they want to help a family, right? They want to help a family. They want to help an individual become a homeowner, and that they have, yeah, the capital, the credit to qualify for. There's really, just the kind of the understanding of the project. There's not really more than that that's required, right? Reading some documents, signing some documents, and kind of staying in touch with us in terms of facilitating the project. It's really a hassle-free kind of a hands-off approach for that investor. And yeah, again, and we've worked with many of them that's perfectly fine for them, right? And there's others that want to go and start investing in other projects with the capital that they get returned and creating other projects, but it's always a good stream of higher than normal cash flow, right?
Yeah, that's nice, and it's important to have. So we always, well, on Wine and Real Estate, I talk about diversifying. So this could be part of your portfolio. So you could have one rent to own with JAAG. You do a flip here. You have buy and hold long term, multifamily somewhere else. So you have a good diversity of projects, and especially with JAAG, I mean, it's 3 years, so you have to reinvest the money. What does it look like in numbers? Do you have a certain number, like your investor needs to qualify for 500,000, or
Oh
what's?
yeah, again, yeah, great question. Again, it's really where our clients are looking to buy and the purchase
Yeah.
price, right? Like you said, in Hamilton now, averages are creeping up, closer to 657, and averages are averages because they're skewed a little bit, but again, they're up, right? That's no you know that that that's no different anywhere else in the province, right? So again, our clients are now qualifying for higher purchase prices, the ones that are in our
Yes.
projects, if they want to live in those cities, right? Like again, in the outskirts. But typically a mortgage is 3 to 400,000 plus the other 20%. The tenant buyer is providing some of that down payment as well. So yeah, they'll, if it is financing, it's yeah, typically 4 to 5, 6, depending on where we are purchasing, right?
Okay. Excellent. So it gives me a good idea of what you need and how can people work with you. So Alfonso, if people want to get a hold of you and maybe they have a tenant buyer, because I think you need a few more to reach your goal this year, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, definitely to get in contact with us is info@jaagproperties.com, JAAG properties.com. And you can send email to me as well too at alfonso@jaagproperties.com. And yeah, definitely reach out, get in touch if you want to learn more. I love having these conversations, explaining it through. That's something that's always fun. And I think that's the key part, right? Is being able to be kind of a trustworthy source in what we're doing. Is that's it. We're going to talk about why it's interesting to you, and have those conversations. And yeah, it'd be great to talk.
Excellent. So we will have to collaborate. I do want to invite you to come and speak to my coaching group as well. I know you're involved with CARUP. Are you still? I think you were elected, or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so interesting with the Canadian Association of Rent-to-Own Professionals. So yeah, that currently sit as the president of that board, and really kind of working with some of the really good minds that have done so many rent-to-own projects across the industry, and how we can improve the process, and really help more people, both sides, and create win-win-win situations.
yeah, I love it. So you're really an educator in many aspects with the right club, with CARUP, with JAG properties as well. So maybe there's an inner teacher in you that likes to help people and teach things.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something that when rent to own was first explained to me, it was kind of complicated, and needed some explaining a little bit more, and I really try to simplify it and try to help people get that there is a concept where you can help people make it a good return, and it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, right? And understanding it's not magic. It's definitely not magic. It's hard work from investors qualifying as well as tenant buyers. But yeah, sharing my experiences is more what I like to do.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on Wine and Real Estate. I know we've been trying for a few months to connect, so we finally did it. And I can't wait to have you on again, maybe in a year, to get an update on maybe you're at property number 400 by then. So I just doubled your number in a year, but there you go. I set the bar high, but thanks a lot, Alfonso.
Yeah, appreciate it, Francois.